Kyle Lowry or P.J. Tucker work today at shoot-around?
They are both going to, do their whole routine with the intention of playing. Yeah, so they both were involved in our shoot-around.
What would that mean if you could have Kyle back, and what kind of burden does he alleviate from other guys?
Obviously, you have a Hall of Fame point guard in mind. It won't be 40 minutes, but whatever those minutes are, yeah, he has experience and the resume and that calm that you can't necessarily put a weight to it. You just know what it means to your team, especially in a building like this on the road. Those possessions, we should be able to get organized, probably a little bit more efficiently.
So what the last 24, 36 hours having to dissect what happened in Game 2 and learn from it?
Yeah, we went through a session yesterday. You have to. The thing about it, the playoffs have so many different twists and turns and emotions. We're disappointed, obviously, by giving up that many points. And then we also really struggled against their switches and their defense, which they've done to a lot of teams, like we can do, to our opponents. They just outplayed us, and we had to learn, from that with the film yesterday and the shoot-around today, and everything to try to get our better version out there.
I suppose Erik, a point of emphasis to get Bam more looks. Looking at the breakdown the last few days of his shot.
Yes, we want him more involved, and I have to do a better job of that, of making sure that he's involved, engaged, getting us the triggers. It might not necessarily be what everybody thinks it may be, but he's a very important part of our offense and how we function. And I think we'll be able to get him in places where he can be assertive and how he was, all season.
If Kyle plays, I assume he'll start. He started as like 600 or 700 appearances, so would that be logical?
I mean, he's much more prepared this time. We've had time, and yes, like if he's playing, we'll work out the rotation, from there. But let's get to tonight. I don't want to. Especially in today's day and age, I'm not jumping to any conclusions. This is not gamesmanship. This is let's get to 8 o'clock. By that point, I think I have to turn in my card. I'll let you guys know who I'm starting, and we'll figure it out from there.
Erik, yesterday the defensive player of the defensive teams came out. Bam, second team. Jimmy didn't make it. For someone like Bam who thought he was in contention for defensive player of the year, are you surprised he didn't at least make first team?
I was. I feel for him because I think he did everything this year to anchor a great defense. And what we do, is really unique. Being able to switch out a five on all different kinds of players, but then also be able to play different schemes. Without him, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of these things. And the most important thing is we had a great defense. So we just have to keep on doing it. At least he was on one of the teams, so he's being recognized for that. And I think it's one of those awards. I think it's great for players to strive for that. Even though it's an individual award, you have to have an effect on your team and winning. Like if we were the 25th ranked defense, I would tell them you don't have a shot at being on an all defense or in the conversation for defensive player of the year.
You endured quite a bit of adversity for a first place team this season. As a head coach, what element did you find to be the most challenging that you eventually overcame?
I don't know. I thought this season was very fruitful in terms of growth for all of us. We all want to. The bottom line is winning, but you also want to grow in this profession and be pushed and pulled in a bunch of different directions to see, how you can become better, from adversity. I think collectively we handled a lot of the adversity well because we knew we had to go through this journey, together. And we had some amazing nights with guys being able to step in and gain a lot of confidence and earn bigger roles. It was about as memorable and eventful of a regular season as you can have. I think those going through those stretches, I think, were really important for our team.
Erik, do you want the team to shrug off Game 2, or like Jimmy said, let it stick and let it
at this point right now, we're getting ready for, that was all yesterday, in the film session and everything. We went through the film.
Spo, with Tyler, with the level of attention Tyler has garnered, just not in the series, but the entire playoff run, and the way he's being defended, has the idea behind what kind of shots he needs to take or how many shots he needs to take changed within the offense?
Yeah, and this is what the playoffs present. It's two totally different series. From this series to last series, you can't even compare them. They schemed to really take him out with the traps and putting bigger bodies on him. Boston is switching more and trying to keep him, from his sweet spots. But he continues to grow, and he catalogs every coverage. He works at it. He studies. I think he's poised to have some great games in this series.
Erik,
impacting winning is the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What would it take to ever get P.J. Tucker not to play in a game? Is there even such a thing at this point?
I don't know.
I mean, you said the other day you had very little doubt, and yet initially he needed an MRI, then he didn't, then he's on the team playing, now it looks like he's playing. I mean, is that just, you sort of always put him on your card?
I think, all of us are, you're kind of on eggshells when you're dealing with him. Like, you can't ask him how he's doing, Then I can't ask a trainer, because if he sees me talking to a trainer, he barks at me and yells at me to stop talking to the trainers. I am allowed to talk to the trainers. That is part of my job. But he is a throwback by every definition of that.
And then to be fair to Kyle, he wanted to play. I assume you probably had to fight him back a little bit also, the kind of gamer he is.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to play game 5 last series. I think we've handled this appropriately. I think even, the ramp up before that in the Philly series, I think we checked all the boxes. Things will happen. He didn't re-injure it. I think that was important, so he's still able to heal. If he re-injured it, I think he would have been out, a lot longer. It's just, he still felt it, and then so we erred on the side of caution and taking more time.
Spo, for tonight's game, what's just the key to executing on the road?
You have to be able to do things with force and detail against a great defense. Look, both teams are dealing with it. In back-to-back games, they gave up the most points that they've given up in all the playoffs, and then we gave up the most points in all the playoffs. That's kind of unexpected on either side, but things happen in the playoffs. You have to be able to adapt and do things better. And it's always, who can get who to blink, first.
Jimmy said he doesn't want to move on something like last game. What about you as a coach? Do you think you want your
now for shoot around? Yesterday, no. Right now we're just locked in on getting ready what we need to do for game 3. But yes, yesterday was kind of a longer day.
Erik, I heard what you said about what Kyle and P.J. are going to do tonight. Were they able to do anything today? Did they participate?
Yeah, they're part of all this. Whether they're run around and all that stuff, that's not necessarily what they needed to do today.
Erik, what's the film session like? What's the mood? Is it encouraging? Is it difficult to watch when you guys went through film yesterday?
I wouldn't say 90% of it was encouraging. We're not like a bed of roses type of organization. Like everything is just awesome. But it's just a reality to what it is. You got to go through that, and then you just, all right. At some point, you're just getting ready for game 3.